Harper Perennial and Cadman present A Nation of Immigrants by John F. Kennedy. Read by Charles Constant. A note before we begin. Don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider. It contains maps and a list of suggested reading and will be referred to throughout as the enhancement. Foreword. The Anti-Defamation League, ADL, has humble beginnings, but it has always been powered by a timeless and influential purpose. Back in 1913, when the organization was founded, our entire operation was little more than a desk in a small law firm. Today we have 25 locations spread across North America, including our main office on the 10th floor of a tall glass and steel skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. Though the size of our organization has changed much over the past century, our core mission remains unchanged, encoded into the DNA of the organization: to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. Just about every day I am reminded of the power of this mission and the impact ADL has had over the past century. Hanging on the wall of my office, matted in a gold frame, is a pen, note card, and Western Union telegram on weathered paper. The telegram was sent by Lawrence O'Brien, Special Assistant to President Lyndon Johnson, to former ADL National Director Ben Epstein, inviting him to a bill-signing ceremony that would take place on October 3, 1965. The law that was being signed was the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, the landmark piece of legislation that ushered in the most diverse wave of new Americans since the United States was founded approximately 200 years earlier. Ben received this telegram and took home one of the pens that LBJ used to sign the act because of the bold role that ADL had taken to champion immigration reform based on our own history and compelled by our mission. Long before it was a cause célèbre, before nationwide rallies and online petitions, ADL had launched a deliberate and determined campaign of advocacy that began with one simple spark: this book. Its origins trace back to the mid-1950s when ADL leadership, alarmed by rising xenophobia and anti-immigrant fervor, saw the echoes of an earlier pattern. At numerous points in prior decades, America had closed its doors to people fleeing prejudice, discrimination, and violence. In the early 1900s, these were Jews exiting Tsarist Russia, seeking a life free from pogroms. In the 1930s, these were Jews escaping Germany and neighboring countries during the brutality of the Third Reich. In the 1940s, these were the Jews fleeing the graveyards of Europe and hoping to find a safer and more stable existence. In the 1950s, Jews were not the main group that sought refuge, but the recent trauma of their own refugee experience had scarred the American Jewish community and its institutions, including Ben. So he reached out to a young junior senator from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and asked him to write a book that explained our diverse American roots to the ill-informed, reminding them that the United States is a country of refugees and a nation of immigrants. That senator was John F. Kennedy. Kennedy delivered on this request, but also did more. He concluded his essay with his vision for immigration reform, particularly the elimination of the national origins quota system, a bold idea that makes the book especially timely. As we know, JFK tragically was assassinated before the passage of the 1965 Act that the book helped to inspire. But the legislation signed by that pen hanging in my office converted his idea into the law of the land and changed the shape of our country for the better. For me, the book and its lofty ideals are not some abstract history lesson. It's literally real life. My life. My paternal grandfather came to the United States on a ship in 1938. Bernard Greenblatt was a young man who once lived freely in Germany, as did a large number of highly educated and successful Jews. There was a degree of anti-Jewish bias, but it did not impede their lives. Moreover, his father fought in World War I, so their patriotism could not be questioned. Or so he thought. The rise of Hitler changed all that, as anti-Semitism burst out into the open, and the onset of the Nuremberg laws that codified casual prejudice.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?